All right. Welcome, y'all, for our chapter presidents meeting. End of the summer, getting back into the fall, and the new training classes are rolling. We've got plans being made for the coming months when the weather is not 100 degrees all day, every day, and when that rain finally does come. I know some of y'all in South Texas got some notes or got some rain. I saw Beverly, thank you with notes. We appreciate that. Lots to talk about today with the plans that we have for the upcoming months, and thank you guys. Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk about the annual meeting quite a bit. We're going to talk about things that are upcoming, things that you guys are doing as a chapter, getting ready for your fall training classes, for your end of the year succession plans, and then some changes in resources or some availability of resources over the next couple of months as well. With that, Michelle, you want to kick us off with some of the current programming?
So just as a spoiler alert, as you know, this time of year is kind of all annual meeting all of the time. There are a lot of moving parts that we're working on to get ready for that, and pieces and parts that make it up. And so today's meeting does have a lot of information and content about everything that goes into the annual meeting and where we need your help and your input. And part of the annual meeting is a celebration of our 25th anniversary that's going on this year. And so we've had the 25th anniversary storytelling project going on all year long. We still would love for you to contribute stories, videos, photos to this project. And we've been talking about this almost every month. But this again, this is a celebration year, and this is one of the pieces that we're using to tell the story of the Master Naturalist program and our 25th anniversary. And so we hope that you will contribute and encourage your membership to contribute as well. So that's still going on. You can scan the QR code to get started and get more information. The storytelling project was a project initiated and developed by one of our previous Master Naturalist program aides, Annabelle Moore, who is also a president of a local chapter right now too. So we want to hear about what made you become a Master Naturalist member, what your favorite memory in the field is, what's been your most significant project and meaningful project to you in your service. And generally what great things you have to say about the Master Naturalist program and the story of you being part of it. These are some of the projects or the storytelling that other members have contributed thus far. So these are recycled from our previous meeting that we showed you, but we'd love to continue sharing more of these from many more members across the state. All right. You want me to cover TM Tuesdays?
Sure.
So,
I'm going to talk a lot at the end of the meeting about
yeah,
the annual
yeah,
meeting.
You got a lot.
You do all this first stuff.
Next up, TMN Tuesdays. Just a reminder that our next TMN Tuesday coming up will be September 12th. We have a familiar face talking on September 12th. And I'll cover that in a second. But just a reminder to your members, TMN Tuesdays are offered by the state office each month, 1 hour of advanced training. And it is one of the events that your members can watch as a recorded event and still receive advanced training for. So Tom Mahomian is our September speaker, and she's moved from our Texas Nature Trackers team into our state ornithologist position. And so Tanya will be talking about safer skies for migrating birds on September 12th from 12 to 1. And then a preview of October coming up. So our October TMN Tuesday, and because it's coming up very quickly, it's being held a different date than normal, but that's because it's helping to prep for our annual meeting. And this is our Texas Master Naturalist 2023 Exemplary Project Fair presentations. So those of you who have been in the program a while, our old project fair kind of took place at the annual meeting pre-pandemic. It took place at the annual meeting in a science board, science fair style. During the pandemic, we moved to a virtual and presentation style for our project fair. And our members statewide really enjoyed that. It was a different venue and avenue, and opened up more opportunities for more people to hear about what chapters are doing, and a larger opportunity for chapters to share in what they are doing. So that maybe the hope of the project fair has always been that to present the best of the best projects that and most innovative projects that chapters have going on, and they compete for a small grant to continue their project or put towards a new project within their chapter. But this just helps share innovative projects across the state that maybe your chapter can implement in its local area as well. Typically during the project fair, we have anywhere from 4 to 10 projects presented, and that's just depending on how many chapters put in a nomination for that year. So currently the time block that's being held for the project fair on October 3rd is a larger time block. And then once everything closes, all the nomination periods close in September. For the project fair presentations, we'll have more likely a more narrow time block for that TMN Tuesday, because we'll have the final count of projects that have been submitted for the competition. And if your chapter is thinking about submitting a project for the project fair, just a reminder that the submission deadline is September 15th. So coming up in just about 2 weeks. Related to the project fair presentations, I am still in need of a couple of our members to be judges on part of the panel. So you would participate with a panel of anywhere from 3 to 5 other judges, and you would be asked to attend the session, the TMN Tuesday session that day live, beyond to listen to the presentations, and then ask any questions of the presenters, the projects being presented. And then after that, the presentation part is done, the judges will go into a private meeting, all virtual online meeting, typically not more than 30 minutes, and discuss scoring and top winners of the event. So so I see a question, do the judges have to be presidents? No, they can be members. And we like to have judges from chapters who are not presenting that day. So
Just makes it easier.
if that's possible. So yeah, if you have an interest, just send me a note.
And one other question that I got in an email the other day is, the submission is a written entry talking about the project that you're going to be presenting. You don't
Not
have
more
to
than
have your
a paragraph.
Yeah, your PowerPoint presentation that you will be presenting on the TMN Tuesday project fair presentation time does not have to be submitted by September 15th. So you can write that summary, get that submitted, and then continue to work on developing your PowerPoint for that presentation. And then Michelle, if they're interested in being a judge, they can email you, correct?
Yep. And I see, Barbara, I see your note. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to keep going.
Okay. So just a reminder that this time of year, your chapters are either kind of starting or culminating some fall trainings, beginning to think about later fall trainings, and then even winter trainings. And just a reminder that earlier this year, we made that basic training form, the form that collects the information on your basic training form. We made that span the time. So it's not, no longer do we collect spring and fall in those intervals. We're just collecting your basic training information all the time as it becomes updated. Members are potential members, potential new trainees are always looking for information, and their questions are always, even if you've just started training, their next question is, when is the next training being planned? So if you can help with, as soon as you know that information for your chapter, and as soon as you have an update, if you could update that into the basic training form on the website. So the link there, and we'll drop it in the chat. Just a reminder that the link there, just scroll all the way down to the bottom of the form, or the bottom of the page, and the form is there at the bottom. So you'll see like all the training information that's been submitted thus far first, and then where to submit new information is at the bottom of the form.
And we'll have a 2024 basic training post separate page. So if you already have dates and information for your spring 2024, don't put it on this one. We'll get a new one for that one so that it gets separate. Typically, we get a lot of interest at the beginning of the calendar year. People are excited to try something new in the new year, and that's when we'll get that one out here pretty quick. Okay.
So you just want the submissions for the remainder of the year, of this calendar year?
Anything that starts within the remainder of this calendar year. We have a few chapters who have what Michelle called the winter training classes that may start in November, December, and continue on. But anything that starts this calendar year.
Yeah. And we'll start the 2024 one pretty soon here. Probably after the annual meeting, because I know you have application periods. For those who are training in January, you'll have application periods that open up much earlier. So we'll get the 2024 one set up soon.
I can do that real quick. Okay, my turn. So all things annual meeting, and we have a number of dates on these slides, some deadlines that are coming up. Michelle and I went through and summarized all of the dates and timelines for the annual meeting at the end of today's presentation. So just know that if there are things that you're trying to scribble down, we have tried to collate some of that stuff for y'all. But again, all of these slides will be up on our website, and all this information is available also on our website. So where are we in the timeline for the annual meeting? We're in the crazy phase. Not pure chaos yet. Pure chaos is in 2 weeks. This is the pre-chaos, a little bit of crazy. But our registration is rolling. Our early registration ends on Thursday this week, and then we will go into our standard registration pricing, and I'll show you a breakdown of those changes here on the next in a couple of slides. We also have some deadlines for contests coming up within the next couple of weeks, and then we roll into the close of our registration and getting ready into that T-minus couple of weeks for the annual meeting. So we're getting close to some major dates and timelines for the meeting. So some highlights for you guys on the agenda. Our chapter leadership reception. We have moved this down. Originally, it was a lunch by popular demand of chapter presidents. We were able to move this down the schedule to begin at 4:30 in the afternoon. And that is to allow y'all to attend as many of the concurrent sessions and field sessions that are happening on Thursday. So our chapter leadership reception, aka our president's meeting, and advisors meeting, advisors are also welcome, is going to be Thursday, October 12th from 4:30 to 6 o'clock p.m. in the ballroom. And then if you are registered to attend the meeting, please make sure that you selected that as a session in your agenda so that we can have a head count for that event. Some other highlights
there will be food. That's the important thing. There will be food. That's why we need the head count.
Yes, there will be food. Some other highlights for our meeting and our agenda specifically is our Eclipse Field Day. We've talked about this a few times now, but I just want to let you guys know that I am just over the moon excited about this day. the Saturday, October 14th of the annual meeting, taking the whole conference out to the El Sal's ranch, owned and operated by the East Foundation. They have just been so accommodating to open their gates for us to be able to go out there. We have a fantastic day of events scheduled for you, and there's a website here on the top of the page with the full run of the agenda for that day. The one thing that I will be sending out as a reminder, the East Foundation has asked that everybody who steps on property have a liability waiver signed. There's been a few folks who have missed it in their registration process, so I will be sending out a reminder targeted for those folks within the next week or so. If you think you are one of them, let me know and I can send you that link. Otherwise, just watch for that large email that I'll be sending out within the week that has the reminder to complete the liability waiver form. Please help us make sure that your members know that that's important as part of our ability to spend the entire day on their property. So this is what I mentioned earlier. Our registration prices will be changing here shortly. On Thursday at midnight, they will move from $400 early registration to the $450 standard registration. So if you are wavering, please just go ahead and press that register button. Go ahead and get ready to join us in October. Again, our standard registration, we have full event. We also have broken those down by request to 2-day and 1-day registration options. So if you're only able to come down for part of the days, you can kind of customize your registration for the event, as well as add-ons. If you have a spouse, a family member that's going to be joining us, but only for the meals, not for the sessions, they can buy a meals pass, or if they're only coming for the fancy meal for our keynote, then they can buy just that meal pass as well. And Michelle, stop me if I've got questions in the chat. I'm just going to keep rolling. Lodging. So we have 5 hotel rooms that are blocked. The room blocks will start to expire at the end of September. I've got the dates on the last slide at the end of the presentation today, but some of these room blocks are going to begin to expire. We do know that the Wednesday nights at all of these hotels is completely booked. So if you are planning on coming down early and looking for a place Wednesday night, I've heard some great ideas from other Master Naturalists. They are going to stay a little bit further up the road, or there's a few folks that are going to go to South Padre Island, or going to go out on the beach and stay at a different hotel Wednesday night, and then come over Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. A nice way to kind of travel as you're traveling with registering for the conference.
So we have a question. Can you go back to the previous slide where it talks about the registration options? And there's a question from Cindy that asks, does the day registration for Saturday include the banquet that night, or do they need to add that?
Yes, if you are interested in just going to the Saturday event, you would register for Saturday one day. Currently at $210. After on Friday will be $260. And that includes all the events for Saturday, the field session, and the banquet that night as well. Great question. So if you have a family member that is joining you that wants to go out to the El Sal's with us for that day and join us for that banquet that evening, they would register for a one-day Saturday option, and that would get them their ability to come out to the field day with us that day. They would still have to sign that liability waiver.
Can you discuss the differences between that and then the guest meals only pass, and like if they're a guest on Saturday, how would that work?
Yeah, so guest meals only is just coming to the meals. So they wouldn't go out to the El Sal's. They would just come for dinner Thursday, lunch and dinner Friday, dinner Saturday, and our breakfast event Sunday. So that's what guest meals covers. And I think on the website it has each of these detailed with what exactly they cover once you get to that registration page. did that answer the question? Do you, my husband registered for both. Cindy, send me an email and we'll get yours fixed up. Perfect. And Dan, you're jumping ahead again. We're going to get to the pictures request. He's always 3 slides ahead of us. Okay, so lodging we talked about. If you don't have a hotel room yet, please get one. They're going to start to close their blocks here pretty quick. Transportation. So at the request of many of our master naturalists, we put together a discussion forum to talk about transportation and rideshare for getting to the event, but then also getting around the event with field sessions. And so we are using the Slack communication tool to run all of our communications, not only for transportation, but also for lodging questions or for discussion groups. We'll also have session channels in there. So you will use the Slack channel or the Slack communications tool for asking all of those questions of your fellow registrants. It is a self-checking discussion board. So you guys Michelle and I are watching it, but we are not the moderators of it. It is an open discussion board for all of the members to have those discussions within those channels. There's a great tutorial on slack.com/how-to-slack, and that's where this YouTube link sends you, is a quick and easy tutorial video that Slack put together about how to use their tool. Keep in mind, the very first bullet that I should have said at the very beginning is that this Slack communication tool is only being used for all registrants for the annual meeting. It's not just an all TMN all the time. It's just for the annual meeting. So just for all registrants.
Is that u2.b or is it YouTube?
It's got the dot in the right spot, Beverly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you grab that and put it in the chat?
Yep.
Oh, that's just a tutorial. Yeah.
It'll also be that video will also be on the email that I'll be sending out to all registrants with that reminder and on how to use Slack as well. Great question. Okay, Michelle, you want to do these 3? And then I'll do photo and art?
Yep. So as you're aware, there's several contests that kind of lead up to and take place or announced at the annual meeting. And we've kind of coordinated all the contest due dates this year to one date. That's 5 p.m. on Friday, September 15th. The contests that we're accepting nominations for and submissions for are the Chapter Advisor Award. So that Chapter Advisor Award, actually, I'll cover more detail in the next slide because it's in the next slide too. Chapter Project Fair Award, which we have, go back up, which we've described to you previously. The video contest is another one that is open now, and we're receiving nominations or submissions throughout September 15th. And then the photo art and media contest. And we'll do a deep dive into each of these in the next couple slides. So the first one is our Chapter Advisor Awards. Again, this is kind of an Advisor of the Year designation. And we are seeking nominations for single advisors or a team of advisors from your chapter. So take a look at that nomination process. It's pretty simple. One-page nomination process with a couple photos being requested, and then any additional supporting information you want to provide. That is due September 15th. And the next one, the Chapter Project Fair, which I talked a lot about in the beginning of the meeting or a few slides ago. The project fair, again, we just have the little paragraph, 4 to 5 sentence paragraph, really is all that's needed to get your chapter's project in the competition. After that, your chapter would, if you've submitted a nomination or an item, then your chapter would put together a 15 to 20 minute presentation, really a 15-minute presentation with 5 minutes of question time. And all of that would be presented on October 3rd. So the note there is right now you don't know when your chapter would be presenting. So if you are a chapter that is planning on submitting a project item for the project fair, try to keep that time block, the 9 to 1 o'clock time block, open for this time being until we get a more firm notification on which and how many chapters will be presenting. And again, the awards for this is a monetary grant that will contribute, that can be used on your chapter's project to carry it on or to start a new one. Okay. And then the other item is our chapter video contest. So this is almost like a promo for your chapter on, it can cover anything about what you do, who you are as a chapter, the trainees experience as a master naturalist. Really, these videos and the contest is your chapter's opportunity to make some a different format to tell the story of your chapter and entice new members to join you or to join your new training class. And showcase what you do as a chapter. Either that might be a project, an individual project, a series of projects, a partnership, or a series of events and celebrations of if you have an anniversary year that you've just gone through or have this year also. This is due September 15th. And if you need some inspiration, our past contest winners, their videos are on our YouTube channel as well.
Okay, I'll talk about photo art and media contest because there's been some updates here. So we have the Rio Grande Valley and the South Texas border chapter are both helping to support the photo art and media contest this year. I suggested to them an idea to use a new platform tool that was going to be an all-in-one feature for us, allow folks to submit and allow us to have a voting contest on the same system. It did not work, as y'all may have seen from the email that I sent out yesterday to the listserv. So we had to revise and refix for our photo art and media contest. So we were using the old system, which worked fine, but it's a different process for us getting those photos into the voting. All that to say, our photo art and media contest is now open. Please submit your individual photos, your art that you've made over the last year, your chapter media objects or individual chapter entries, newsletters, scrapbooks, and brochures. And we did change that deadline because of the technical glitch that we had. So it is now September 18th is the deadline for entry for photo art and media contest. And it's a great way for your artistic work to be showcased at the annual meeting, but then also put into the rotation for photos to be used in promotional advertisement of the Master Naturalist program over the following year. Yes, so we updated with the new old system. And then going into our sponsorship, so thank you to the chapters who have already sent in their chapter sponsorship of the annual meeting. That's always greatly appreciated. Our sponsorship for our meeting gives us the ability to add in new opportunities at the annual meeting, provide some of those travel funds that we mentioned that we were able to send out earlier in the month, and then also just make our event that much better. So we are still advertising for sponsors, and the two local coordinating chapters have been doing a fantastic job at sending out the requests for sponsors and for vendors. And I just want to again say thank you to all of those chapters who have given their sponsorship for the annual meeting. That again just helps us to put on just an amazing event. We also have some wonderful partners with some of these statewide and national organizations like HEB and East Foundation as well. As well as sponsorships. The 2 local coordinating chapters are also helping us to collect vendors so that we can have a vendor fair, an exhibit hall at this year's annual meeting for you as attendees to be able to peruse, check out, buy goods and plants. And so we've got education booths, we have some plant booths, we have some artwork booths, and some partner booths that will be there. We're still looking for some more vendors. So if you know of anybody who would have some great items to sell, to share some messages that they want to put out there, this is a great way to get in front of 430 plus master naturalists that are registered as of today. So please help us to find those vendors to be able to have a really well-populated vendor fair this year.
So there's a question in the chat about vendors. Will they be open all day or only at certain times?
We will have vendors can open and close as they'd like. We will have targeted vendor times on our agenda. And that's not on this page, but I do have another page that talks about that we've been sharing with those who have signed up for vendor booths. And those are receptions or coffee breaks that are being done in the exhibit hall around the vendor booths themselves. So I can get that updated and share it as well. Good question. The other item that's going to actually be in that same exhibit hall space alongside vendors is going to be our silent auction. I can't say this enough. The Rio Grande Valley chapter and the South Texas Border chapter really stepped up. They've created all of these wonderful subcommittees to help break up the work and pitch in to make this year's meeting really a stellar event. And so we have a local coordinating committee helping to put on a silent auction this year. They also need your help from across the state. They need items to help make this silent auction phenomenal. It's always fun to be able to shop and buy at the annual meeting, get ready for Christmas, buying items off of your fellow master naturalists at this auction. Also helps to raise funds for the following year's annual meeting so that we at the state office can provide travel discounts, we can provide project grants and things like that for the following year's annual meeting. So think about items that you as a chapter, you as attendees can bring to the annual meeting, things that represent your home area, your home county, your home chapter. Naturalist items, things that you want, travel packages, handcrafted items, themed baskets, any of those types of goods that would get you excited to go shopping at the silent auction. I bet other master naturalists would want to buy those as well. If you've got any questions on the silent,
actually, that slide, the dates need to be updated. Drop off is the 12th, probably.
Drop off is the Thursday the 12th, Thursday in the morning. Yep. Thank you for catching that. I think we've used this slide like 3 times now, and that's the first time that we've caught that. Y'all know what we meant.
Okay, it's in the morning instead of the afternoon?
It's in the afternoon. You can drop it off anytime Thursday.
Okay.
Anytime Thursday. You get there Thursday, we will be there. You can drop it off.
I do my best editing while I'm presenting.
I did preface all of this to say that we are in the crazy phase, so we're not going to touch everything. Okay, so here's some more dates and some more things that are happening now, getting ready for the annual meeting. So things that you can do now, collecting your silent auction items, submitting your order for curriculum orders. So A&M Press has once again offered this great opportunity for you to make your bulk order of the curriculum books for the coming year and save on shipping. Shipping for these books is pretty expensive because they're 6.5 pounds each. So if you have 50 books that you know you're going to need in 2024 for your next training classes, get them ordered now in bulk, get that bulk discount, and save on that expensive shipping by having them delivered to you at the annual meeting. Don't forget, you will have to have somebody that is willing to drive them back up and have the room in their car to drive them back up to your chapter. The deadline for that is Tuesday, October 3rd. We did send out that order form already. If you have not seen it, just let me know. Kathy, if you haven't seen it and you don't find it in your inbox, just send me an email and I'll forward it on to you.
It's not on the website, right?
It's not on the website just because it's targeted for this event.
Okay.
I'll let you do this one.
Yes, so continue our theme of getting ready for the annual meeting. As if you've been an attendee at the annual meeting in the past on our Saturday night awards ceremony, you will know that we like to celebrate the achievements of our fellow master naturalists from across the state. And so one of the ways we the way we obtain that information is through our VMS. So we take the list of people that have registered and then pull the information for recognition from VMS. And so it's very important that if you could get your VMS administrator's assistance in this, but it's very important in your membership coordinator's assistance that your members Milestone Awards are updated in this user defined tab in VMS, because that's where we pull all the information. And so what we're looking for is any milestone award that would have been received or reached between the week after the annual meeting last year up through September 29th of this year. So if your member has reached a milestone, one of our recognized milestones in between those dates, that time, basically it's since the year since the annual meeting last year, we would like to recognize them at the annual meeting as having earned that milestone this year. So if you could just help ensure that your members' information is updated in that user-defined tab, TMN recognition in VMS, that's where we pull the information. And then likewise, another thing that we do at the annual meeting, and this typically happens with our slideshow, our chapter slideshow, which I'll talk about in a minute, is a chapter memorial. If you'd like to have a picture, have any information, one slide of information of any members that may have passed in the past year from your chapter, please go ahead and send that stuff to me. And we'll get that incorporated into that presentation. It'll be a different presentation from the awards ceremony, but we'd like to have that by September 29th. And then another thing that happens at the annual meeting is our annual chapter slideshow. This is actually misnamed in here. The annual chapter slideshow, where we ask for pictures and photos from your chapter over the past year. And this is put into almost like a video, and it's played during transition times, in pre-dinner, during our socials and our Master Naturalist family reunion. These are pictures that we collect from your chapter. Actually, Donna Cole is one of our members that puts this all together every year with some music. And we are requesting that each chapter send no more than 10 photos. And there are some instructions, and we'll follow up with some of the details, all the details on this. But if you, as a chapter, if you need to incorporate your chapter's historian and get in helping with this, please do. We would like photos sent to Donna via Dropbox, Google Photos, or Google Drive by September 29th, if possible.
And there has been one email sent out to all chapter presidents about this. It's been a couple of weeks now. But again, we'll follow up with sending that back out to all of y'all so that it's easy for you guys to find.
Okay, another item, kind of getting ready for the annual meeting. We mentioned that our monthly orders of pin and certificates for the fall will be hand delivered at the annual meeting. So if you're a chapter attending the annual meeting, we'd really like to collect September, and if you could forecast a little bit through December and order your supplies for the rest of the year, we can save a ton of money on shipping and hand deliver that order to you at the annual meeting. So our intent is to deliver this to you at the president's meeting. So even if you're not the person taking them home, we will be handing them to you if you could help get them to the correct person to be taking them home if that's not you. So we'll be sending out a way the form or the way to submit what you need for the end of the year ordering shortly. And then just a note that still the 4,000 hour Presidential Volunteer Service Award pins are still on back order. I am ordering everybody that is due a 4,000 hour award. They still do have certificates, so I'm ordering certificates. And then when the pins come off of back order and they're back in, I'll go back in and order the pins for everybody that hasn't got a pin yet. So just note that those are still on back order. There is still not a date on when they will be back in the ordering queue, but I'm continuing to watch that. And just another note on the 4,000 hour award winners. I cannot pre-order on those. So the person has to have crossed that milestone already. The data has to be reported in VMS. So even if you think a member is going to cross that threshold by the end of the year, I still can't order it until it actually has been crossed. So that's the only one I can't pre-send for you. All right. One thing we wanted to let you know of as soon as we could is we have some things we're going to give to you to take home from the annual meeting and the president's meeting specifically. So we're calling them your chapter care package. We'll have a few items for you to take home. Some of them are a surprise, but we want to make sure that you have or can have advance notice of this, and so that you can arrange car space if you're sharing a ride down with somebody, or if you are flying but other members are traveling to the meeting via a vehicle. If wanted to let you know about this so that you could arrange that space for these items to get home. So some of the things that we are planning to give you at the annual meeting is any of your pre-orders for the recertification pins and milestone pin orders and certificates for the remainder of the year. We have a new shipment of TMN project signs that came in that I just got ordered, so we'll give you a set of those per chapter. We have a new item that's coming, and that's one of the surprise, but the size that you may need to have available in your car is roughly 3 feet long by 1 foot by 1 foot. So we have a couple other small items that we're giving you again as surprises. And then anything else you want to pick up from the Master Naturalist swap shop table, your curriculum orders, if you're going to do a bulk order for pickup at the annual meeting, and then anything that you win at the silent auction. So
the other thing that I was thinking of that we didn't put on this slide, but if there's a specific request for who from your chapter is attending, if you'd like to have that list of who from your chapter has registered, I have made that available for chapter presidents in the past. So you can email me It might take me a day or so, but I can get those lists of chapter members out. Just note that we're still in the middle of registration. So if you want to make that request as we get closer to the annual meeting, that would give you probably a more final list of who's attending from your chapter. And I can send you a list of names of everybody who is registered from your chapter. Okay. So with that, we kind of wrap up all things annual meeting. We do have a few other items that we just wanted to talk about, think about larger scale resources for the year, and some other things that we have available on our website. Michelle, if you want to talk about this one, then I'll cover the next couple.
It isn't all annual meeting all of the time. The other big thing coming up towards the last quarter of the year is elections. So many chapters begin to start thinking about they're planning their nominations committee and elections in the upcoming months, typically the fall months. So if you're a new president, just know that that's coming up. If your elections period is open, and remember that your leadership sets your leadership and your new leadership sets the tone and the pace for your chapter for the next year. So leadership extends all the way from your president down to your committee chairs, and so be thinking of the best faces for your chapter, the best people that can fill those spots. And again, the number one rule of filling some of those spots within your chapter, the committee chairs and the officers and board members, typically is people have to be asked or want to be asked, need to be asked to fill those positions. And so if you have an idea of someone who would be a great fit for any of the positions, ask them. Typically, if you just put out a broad statement, like if you're interested, or we need someone to fill these positions, less people step up than just going to a person and asking them. So, some thoughts on planning elections in the coming year, or the coming months. And then chapters also begin thinking about leadership retreats. And if you are changing over officers and board positions and committee chairs, having a meeting for both the old and the new, incoming and outgoing, to meet together, learn from each other, hand over documents and information to the exiting person to the new person, any lessons learned, and then also getting together as a new board to be planning and thinking about your efforts and goals for the new year. So another item that we will continue to be talking about is, as you are electing new people or towards the end of the year, and this is more December, November, December, really end of December information, because all of our new officers and boards take office in January. If as a chapter, even if you're an exiting leader, if you can help make sure that the new leadership information for the new year is updated in VMS, that helps us to connect with the right people and get the right people in the right meetings for the new year, like these president's meetings.
And then all incoming chapter presidents are also invited for our November chapter presidents and advisors meeting. The December one is our joint TMN Tuesday. So that one will be not as focused in on president needs as the November one, hence why we're opening that November chapter presidents meeting. Some other resources, we have this slide on every single president's meeting, but it is vitally important. Our state website is the kitchen sink of all things annual meeting, of all things TMN Tuesday, of all things chapter governing documents. So please make sure that you are checking out our state website if you have questions. It has a handy little search tool. The other thing that I gave a new training class presentation this last weekend. And one thing that I wanted to point out to them, and I want to point it out to y'all again, is don't forget to share our listserv sign up for your new training class members, for your membership. That is the way that they get those announcements when we open registration, when we have announcements about upcoming events, about TMN Tuesday registration. That's how Michelle and I communicate with the mass membership of the Master Naturalist program. So please make sure that you're sharing that with new trainees as they get started. And then you want to talk about this one, Michelle?
Yes. So October is typically the time period that I need to renew WebEx accounts. And so over the year, I've been reviewing the WebEx accounts. We have those 6 regional accounts. And my thoughts at this point in time are I'm considering discontinuing the Region 1 and Region 2 accounts because they have not been used the entire year. So I'm thinking about discontinuing Region 1 and Region 2. If that's going to gravely impact your plans for the upcoming year, please let me know. And this would be roughly October to October. So the rest of a couple months into 2023 and then 2024. I'm also looking at the back-end data for some of the other regions. There's probably one other region in there that's not used at all or very heavily at all. But the regions that are I see continued use on every month, I will keep those. And then the other thing is just some reminders on WebEx. So don't forget to download when you do have meetings, don't forget to download those into a local machine or a local area, and delete the recordings from the platform once you are done with them. I do have to go into the accounts every month. I try to do that around the 5th of the month to delete anything that's older than a month from there. We just can't have so much on the cloud because we are limited on space there. So, and if there's too much, we can't record, or you can't record. So that is one of the things I do for the management of those WebEx accounts. And then the other typical reminders that we have, please don't change the avatar or the profile picture for your region or the name. And then because that is a shared account. And then when you do go in and schedule a meeting, check the calendar as far out as you can before setting up new meetings, just to make sure that you don't overlap or schedule something that's going on at the same time as someone else that they've already had scheduled.
Muted. Some other tech resources that we have ongoing beyond the WebEx accounts. We also help to support chapter websites that host their website with the AgriLife WordPress suite. So the majority of our chapters host their website using the WordPress suite, and our AgriLife IT team has offered a monthly WordPress training, a web accessibility, Tech Tuesday, tech training that they do on the first Tuesday of the month. And so that is scheduled for September 5th at noon for the next one. It's the same link every single month, that short link, tx.ag/txmn WordPress. That short link will refresh to the next month's Teams meeting that they will use for these trainings as well. So please check those out. Share that with your WordPress admin. Share that with any of your website managers. That's open to anybody to join. It's 45 minutes, so it's 30 minutes of presentation from Daniel and Dagna from the IT team, and then 15 minutes of Q&A that you can ask specific questions about things that you might be having issues with. Another resource that is currently live that does have a deadline coming up here quickly is our fall pop-up store. So you can order your Master Naturalist gear. You can share this with your trainees. You can share this with your membership. It's been on our social media. We put it out on the on the listserv, but please make sure that they know that this is closing on August 31st. After that, then the order will go into to design, to custom, to printing, and then to shipping. So you won't get these items until towards the middle end of September, well in time before the annual meeting. But we have to close this pop-up shop at the end of August in order to have that amount of time for them to get to you before you travel down to McAllen. One question that I did get in an email the other day was the shipping price. The shipping fee is quite high, and that is CC Creations has to do that, and that shipping fee actually covers them folding, bagging, and packaging and labeling all of these items individually. So it's not just their post office fee, it is also all of it's shipping and handling, so to speak. And so one of the suggestions that I heard from a chapter is they're putting in a group order. So they're getting together and they're putting in a couple of different people's orders all together, and then they're sharing that shipping cost. And so even Michelle and I talked about it this morning, that maybe she and I are going to both order shirts together, and then share and split that shipping cost between the two of us. So that's an option. So yes, and then Michelle dropped the link.
Yeah, I dropped the link. I noticed it's not search. If it's on the website, it's not searchable. So
not on the website. It's on our social media.
But the other thing is the deadline is Thursday for this too.
Thursday. Yes. And there is not going to be a store at the annual meeting. This is the store for the annual meeting. Thank you, Beverly. Speaking of ways to promote your membership in the Master Naturalist program, you want to put that dragonfly on your shirt, on your hat, but you also want to put it on your car. Our license plates are still available, it's fun seeing and driving them around. Like I said, I was with some Master Naturalists on Saturday, and there were 3 or 4 of them in the parking lot, and so that's always fun to get to see. And so the link for our license plate is on the slide, but I think Michelle's looking for it to drop it in the chat as well. We did have a question that came in: how many license plates have we sold to date? I went back and I looked at the reports earlier this week, and we have 566 that were sold as of Q2 of this year. So we're getting close to our goal of selling 800 license plates. And once we cross that threshold, there's an incentive from the DMV because we get our initial deposit back on these plates. So it's a great opportunity to not only to promote the Master Naturalist program out there in the public, but also to generate some funds for the program that can be used in a variety of different ways. Our endowment is still ongoing. So we have a Master Naturalist endowment that is a way for us to build a sustainable funding portal for the Master Naturalist program for continuity into the next 25 years as we celebrate our 25th anniversary this year. So please consider looking at the Master Naturalist endowment as you're thinking about your long-term giving with this program beyond your service. There's also an opportunity to give your time and treasure.
So there's a question in the chat about ordering things, ordering shirts. So I might need some clarification on which shirts, Mickey. There's the pop-up shop shirts, and then there's the books, what we call the bookstore merchandise shirts. Those are available almost all the time, as long as they're in stock. And then the pop-up shop, Mary Pearl, would we do another pop-up shop if there's
we probably won't do another pop-up shop until the spring.
So Mickey asked about the polos, and those are on the bookstore. So I'll drop them.
The problem with the polos on the bookstore, and this is the bookstore link here, and I dropped it in the chat, and you can search Master Naturalist to find our Master Naturalist items in it, if I can spell. Is that all the sizes are not guaranteed to be in stock. So I have not restocked all of the sizes recently. So if you're looking for some of these items, they may or may not be in stock. Mediums are, larges might be. So you can look in here and see what's available on our AgriLife store as well. Yeah, out. The bookstore is out. If you want a polo, now is the time to get it from that pop-up store. So here's the first page of some upcoming dates to calendar check. Our September dates, our 5th is the WordPress training, 12th is our TMN Tuesday with Tanya. Our next chapter presidents and advisors meeting is September 26th, and that will be the last one that we have before we get to see you guys in October. And then this slide has all things annual meeting dates. Again, we wanted to collate these so that you guys could see some of the upcoming deadlines that we have for the annual meeting, when registration closes, the hotel blocks, contest entries. Lots of things are happening or closing on September 29th, and then the curriculum book orders the following week. So with that, Michelle, that wraps up everything that I had to say.
Yeah, we're right at 101. So just the couple of reminders as we're wrapping up. If you have grants and awards that your chapter has received, let us know about those. We want to help share that story and your accolades through our social media and other avenues. What was the other thing on that last slide?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, and we probably take just 1 or 2 questions if you're a president on the call who might have a question of another chapter or other chapter presidents on the call today. So if you have any burning questions you wanted to ask of the entire group, go ahead, you can chat them or you can come off mic and ask. And if you don't have questions, that's great.
Then we'll see you next month. Bye.